also decide to homeschool. Pero sa amin, yun nga, when the speaker was talking about when you are home educating your children at home, you as a family can still your own family values. And I said, I like that. Kasi parang you train them while they are young and intact yung values, no? So hindi siya yung tainted ng environment or the peers around them. And she also discussed about safety. Na-realize na yung scenario pala sa mga conventional schools ay, yun nga, there's a presence of bullying, yung mga, what do you call it? May isa kaming na-encounter, na biro mo yung daughter nila primary year, pero may, alam mo yun, there's already relationships that are going on. So parang ko, ayoko muna ng gano'n, no? So these are the things that are important to us as a family. So parang nag-click talaga siya yung topics na ito. And so we decided as a family, as my husband and I, na parang maybe let's give it a try. And another year came, we attended another seminar. It's a parent seminar on the biblical approach to education. And dito, yung speaker was talking about this quote, and I cannot forget it until now. He said, do not abdicate your role as a parent. At the time po, both my husband and I were working full-time. So, in a corporate setting. So, lagi kaming wala sa bahay, nag-office. Ako po, as an interior designer, I would always have field work and construction work. Yun. So, my hours were long outside. And I could recall one day, I went home and then our daughter was taken care of by Ayaya. Tapos nung kukunin ko na siya, naku, ayaw niya lumapit sa akin. Parang gusto niya, dun lang siya kay Ayaya. So sabi ko, oh no. Tapos yun nga, naalala ko itong sinabi ng speaker na when we abdicate the role, yun, the relationship between us and our children will have a gap. So sabi ko, siguro ito na talaga yung confirmation, no? That we really have to decide to homeschool our children. And yung cost naman, it came later. Kasi at the time, since kindergarten pa lang naman kami magsa-start, so wala pa masyado kaming concern about cost. And then we did not know also that we will still be having future children at the time. So isa pa lang nga, di ba? And then, of course, homeschooling kasi, it entails commitment. At that time, since I was still working, so it was a bit of a challenge.
I mean, medyo garbled. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hi. So, on and off.
Nawala ulit.
Oo.
Ayan po. Okay na po. So our first phase of the journey was in the Philippines, 2004 to 2011. Then we moved to Nepal, 2011 to 2016. And you cannot hear me?
Yeah.
Grade 5 to grade 10. Tapos dalawa na po ang aking hino-homeschool at the time. My second child entered kindergarten also up to grade 5. And then when we moved to Armenia, second.
Hello, Ivy. Okay. Going on and on. Yeah.
Okay na. Nawala.
Okay.
Oo nga.
Okay. Yeah, ngayon okay
Should
na.
we go on?
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right. So while we were still in the Philippines, or every year, at least once a year, nakauwi po kami. So this, in the map, you can see that the blue dots are the places our children have been to in the Philippines. So I will just highlight some of these places na napuntahan nila and some of their activities while being there. So if you notice po, hindi lang siya merely, what do you call it, sightseeing or talagang bakasyon lang, but every activity that we do in each place is intentional. So ang nangyari naman, because each one is part of their homeschool experience, kumbaga walang nasasayang na, oh, ito, wala tayong ginagawa, that's just for, doing nothing. But every activity is intentional, and they will have a portfolio output after doing an activity. So for example, ito, when we went to Palawan, my two daughters were able to experience scuba diving. That is what homeschooling is all.
Okay. Ayan.
Wow, challenge.
Oo nga eh. I don't know what's happening with the audio and internet. Okay, okay na.
Yes, yes. All right. So every activity is intentional, and homeschooling is parent-led. So it is us, the parents, who suggest like what activity they should do, because you have the end in mind. Yon. So ito, some of the pictures when they were a bit younger. So they did not only focus on just attending to the academic requirements of their curriculum. So they were also involved in some extracurricular activities like theater, or eto, may performance sa, yung anak ko nag-aral siya ng violin, ganyan, no? So, and then when they were a bit teenager na, so they would be invited in the school. Kung nasa Philippines kami, and then meron ding activity yung aming homeschool provider, so they would perform in the program. So, and I think this was during the Thanksgiving Day. Tapos, so meron din silang exposure to nature and a lot of it. So, yeah, nakita nyo dyan yung isa, that was in Nepal. We all rode the elephant together. It was like a safari experience. Ito naman, these are the places that we've been to all over the world na. So parang so far they've been to 12 countries. And so the ones in the black circles are the place of residence that we had so far. So Philippines, Nepal, and Armenia. And the ones in the arrow are the places that they've stayed also a bit, like some for some work or some conference, or others were for holiday. So wherever they go, there's always an intentional experience that they go through, and they have to write about. They have to like, because we visit the museums, we go to every attraction, no, that is there allowed in our itinerary. And so, for example, this one in Nepal, these are the photos in Nepal. So they would even play in itself, like here in the picture, they're playing Play-Doh. So it is part of their learning, because they are learning to ang concept na maaral nila dito ay math, for the shapes and for measurements, like how much amount of Play-Doh will go into the mold so that it will form this kind of a shape, etc. And sa lower side naman po ng picture, sorry, go back. That's when my daughter became an entrepreneur at an early age of, I think, 14. She designed these cards and posters, and then she sold them at a weekend market. So, yun, natuto siya kung paano mag-advertise, kung paano maggawa ng kanyang logo, and and even selling them and earning from her hard work. And on the right side, you can see that my husband brought her along into a trekking trip to one of the Himalayan mountains in Nepal. No, so they trekked for 7 days. And actually, in itself, yung trip na to, it can be a whole homeschool curriculum in itself kasi parang na-cover na nila lahat ng subjects while she was there. So, of course, science. So, she studied all yung mga nadadaanan nilang trees. She had to identify it, the landforms and all those things. And may astronomy pa kasi sa gabi, they can really see the stars, the constellations. No, so and then they interacted with a lot of people, and there's a lot of measurements that they did, like the amount of oxygen that they need to intake during this trek. Kasi ano siya, the height of this mountain was double the height of Mount Apo. So isa lang yan sa mga mountains in Nepal na, at mababa pa yon kasi that's around 5,000 something meters, for almost 5,000 meters high. So it was such a milestone that she was able to endure this trek kasi marami po ang nagkakaroon ng altitude sickness even climbing this mountain. But they survived it, so it was a wonderful experience for both of them. And we were still in Nepal when the magnitude 7.8 earthquake happened. That was in 2015. So you can see here that our children were so much involved in providing the humanitarian services or relief operations for the survivors, because our family are also survivors, but then we chose to serve during that time. So yan, kasama po namin sila, na-minute namin yung mga nasa village, and we comforted them, we prayed for them, we gave some food and medicine and shelter. And then on the right side of the photo, you can see that my daughter was talking to a Nepali, and it was after the earthquake that she was able to meet her, and she shared the gospel to her. And to this date po, this student, now already in college, is actually already sharing the gospel to other Nepalese as well. So nag-multiply na siya. And she also designed T-shirts for mga university logos kasi they attended a conference around the time of the earthquake. And dun sa baba, you can see that there's an article there, the day everything changed. She was commissioned by a publication in Canada kasi she's blogging early on, and the person saw her blog and asked us, can we publish her blog? So they published it verbatim and put also the photos there. So it was like a 4-page spread yata ng article that was published in Canada. And they were asking pa nga if they can hire her. So para at the time, she had to focus on her school requirements. Yan. And then last year we were also blessed to visit the U.S. So these are the states that they also visited, those in blue. So during this time, another intentional trip. So siguro I'll just run through, like they've visited the different states, and of course, before kasi they would just read them, di ba, in their history books or Araling Panlipunan or yung geography, but then they were able to experience it firsthand already. And during the trip, it was not only the sites that they've seen, but also the experience that develop character in them. So nakita nyo dito sa isang picture, yung anak kong bunso ay nakahiga na sa airport kasi na-cancel yung flight namin. And so we had to endure like triple the amount of time that we were supposed to travel with hunger, with, sickness pa. Kaya yon, medyo ano yon, they were really tested also during that time. I will just mention here during this part some homeschool methods that work for us as a also overseas Filipino family, no? So marami kasi po ang mga homeschooling methods, and probably I'll be discussing around 4 to 5 methods that work for us. The first one, when we were just starting in 2004, we incorporated, hindi ko alam na ito pala yung tawag at the time kasi wala pa naman mga nag-introduce that time, no, kung ano yung mga methods. So later on lang nalaman ko na yung pala yun. So it is called the school at home or the traditional method. What is it? Parang ito yung dinala mo lang talaga yung kung anong nasa private school or public school na setting or manner of studying, bring it at home. So that is what school at home or traditional method is about. So of course we purchased the curriculum, and we had at the time I had mga worksheets, yung mga Manila paper na talagang ilalagay mo sa wall para makita ng anak ko. Tapos I think we had whiteboard also. Tapos may chair, may table. So parang sabi ko sa kanya, you should call me teacher mommy. I'm not your mommy only here during this time. I'm your teacher mommy. And yun, so parang medyo formal, no, yung setting at that time. Tapos the way to assess them is through quizzes and tests. So parang may lecture type na nangyayari. Ganun yung aming setting at the time nung nagsa-start pa lang kami. So this method is good for starters. Lalo na yung mga ngayon nagta-transition because of the COVID scenario, no? So wala tayong ibang option for now but to really homeschool our children or bring the education at home. So this is the method that might work for you. Another method po that I will introduce is called the unit studies. Okay, so because nga nagta-travel po kami at hindi kami nagsettle lang sa isang place for a long time. So this also will work. What are unit studies? So unit studies are thematically related learning plans. So meaning they study the same subjects or object from na mas focused lang, doon lang talaga nakatutok, no, yung pag-aaralan nyo for a certain period of time. So katulad nito, I will show a picture of the map of Armenia to Georgia. Because during this time, we needed to move to Georgia for the renewal of our visas. So we needed to exit muna before we could, it's called visa run. So from Armenia, so we had to travel 6 hours by land to Georgia, and then another 6 hours back. And then we stayed, I think, mga 3 to 4 days in Georgia at the time. So sabi ko, mahirap magdala ng books. Kasi syempre, tatlo na sila, no? So, I came up with a suggestion na why don't we do a unit study of Georgia? So, ang nangyari po, while we were leaving Armenia, I said that they have to keep a journal, record everything in their notebook, every expense that we had from the moment we left home until makabalik kami. So yun, nag-record sila, no? So lahat ng resibo, they would keep it, and then ang nangyari kasi, that became their output for math. So after the trip, they made some graphs, they computed, and then they also compared and analyzed yung mga foreign currencies. Kasi we were doing 3 currencies at the time. So may Armenian drams, may Georgian lari, and then the US dollar. So tatlo yun, no, that they have to consider. And then for science, they had to because we were visiting botanical garden. So yun, meron silang exposure for science, yung flora, yung fauna ng Georgia. And then for English, for history, for ano pa ba, art. So we had, they incorporated what they saw in the museums, in the architecture, you know, just the physical environment within Georgia. So when we went home after the trip, just by studying this unit or this theme about Georgia, they were able to come up with a lot of learning, a lot of output that they were able to submit for that quarter. So that's what unit studies is all about. Another method po is called the road schooling or homeschooling on the road. So yun ang madalas na nangyari sa amin kasi nga we are going from place to place. Yung kung nandun lang po kayo sa isang place, kunwari you are in one country right now and you're moving from, let's say, one province to another, this is what is road schooling is all about. So you can integrate what the children are seeing and experiencing into their homeschool curriculum actually. And then use the landmarks and attractions that they encounter. And then itong method na to, medyo unscheduled siya kasi parang whatever they see, whatever they experience, that will be incorporated into the curriculum. And they will be able to learn how to integrate their travel with all the subjects and themes that they are learning about. So maganda to kasi the children will make connections between their materials and also their surroundings. So yan po ang road schooling. Meron namang tinatawag na world schooling. Yon. Kasi medyo in-expand ko po kasi nga hindi lang kami nag-road schooling. Siguro yung nakita niyo yung map kanina ng Philippines. So that is road schooling kasi from one province to another. Pero ang world schooling is of course from the word world is learning is expanded from country to country. So this one naman, so almost similar siya with road schooling. But this time, the family is really traveling together. So, lalo na kung kunwari yung trabaho ng isa sa family member ninyo that entails you to move from one place to another. So, this can be one method that will work for you. So, the children will now have a wider knowledge of the world around them, not just the city or the nation that they are in. So, they will experience learning talaga in a solid kasi mas macro na, no? They will see the entirety of everything in a world's perspective. So ito rin flexible din siya, and you can also introduce yun nga, a lot of different cultures and language and yun about the food and immersion on the things that are happening in every country. So the focus on learning can be about geography, social studies, world culture, history, and of course language kasi they will interact with other people and then learn new language as well. So ito, dapat lang intentional and planned kasi parang although flexible na nga siya kasi you're roving from one place to another. So we as parents would be the one to introduce to them the system or the order lang, no? So that's what makes it intentional. So the curriculum that you can use, for the curriculum that you can use, you have to consider lang the following. So because you're moving from one place to another, so how much storage space will fit in your luggage? So isa yun sa aming dilemma, no? Kasi lalo na we have 3 children at a time na hino-homeschool. So yung laman ng aming maleta, pag nagbabiyahe kami ay mostly books and school supplies. So mabigat yung aming ano. So there's the weight where it comes from. It comes with the storage space and the weight. And also you have to determine ahead ano yung mga school supplies kasi baka hindi siya available doon sa country na pupuntahan ninyo or where you will be based. So kung pupunta kayo sa aming mga shelves dito, magugulat kayo na makikita nyo, meron kami mga supplies from National Bookstore, from the Philippines pa rin kasi we bring it here. Kasi minsan hindi mo kaagad mahahanap. And of course, you have to have a stable internet connection. Lalo na ngayon na everything will be done mostly, if not all, online na. So we have to have this access to strong internet connection. And the curriculum, it's a pro and con kasi maganda kung meron kayong multiple level children. Meaning, like sa amin, 3, no? So iba-ibang grade. Our curriculum can actually be passed on to the next sibling. So medyo nakakatipid tayo doon kasi nagagamit pa rin naman yung materials ng mga younger children. And then of course, there's flexibility that happens at all times. How does it work? So, for example, the parents who would decide to go for the world schooling method, so one of the parents can decide to be the primary teacher or the educator, and the other will be focused on work. There are a lot of ways that, like for example, hindi naka-tie up yung work ng, let's say, a parent to a company, let's say, no, in one country. So you can do entrepreneurial ways to earn, like travel reviews, blogging or vlogging, and then writing a book together and then publish it later, and then you earn from that. So pwede rin actually yung like in our case, my husband is the principal. So siya yung aming go-to person when the children need more consultation than the lessons that they're learning. And ako yung talagang nag-oversee ng learning nila, yung mga schedules nila and their requirements. So you can identify who among you, between you and your husband, can do any of these things that I'm suggesting. So when you are also world schooling, you have to minimize your material possessions kasi kung lilipat ka na naman sa isang bansa, 'di ba? Mahirap 'yon. Nako, ang daming because we learned that lesson already coming from Nepal na at the time we hoarded, ang dami naming art supplies, ang dami naming mga actually furniture na binili, ganyan, no? But then, yung pala, we had to move. So the disposal is a bit of stress actually also. So minimize lang the material possessions that you have. Like for example, for the table that the child will use. Kung wala kayong study table, it's okay. Use the dining table. Use the coffee table. Yun. So pwedeng gamitin yung mga furniture that are existing. You don't have to get another set. Kasi baka eventually, yun nga, hindi nyo naman madadala yun pag uwi sa Philippines. And then utilize skill sets. Like for example, you have skills like baking, so that can augment also in the income for the needs of the family. And then, for example, you have a property at home, then you can rent it out so that you will have the resources that you can use for your children's education. And then keep homeschool costs to a minimum. So ito, kasi nga mobile and temporary yung mga conditions no abroad. So these are the things that we have to bear in mind. For us, this is one or the most method that worked for us, yung tinatawag na eclectic or relaxed homeschooling. So you will see there, that's one instance where all of us were working in our dining table, although yung isang anak ko meron siyang study table, but sometimes we just choose to study together in one place. So nandito kami lahat. And then what is eclectic or relaxed homeschooling? That is mix and match. 'Di ba sa UP natutunan ko to nung era ko, maski pops, 'di ba? Yung maski papano, or so parang you just combine everything together and you mix and match them. And so this the homeschooling methods that I've mentioned earlier, like ano yung mga nauna, school at work or traditional, yung unit studies and world schooling, you can add them together and you will have an eclectic method. So ito, ang maganda sa eclectic, gusto ko yung word na relaxed homeschooling. Kasi nga, you can change anytime you want. Parang if one method does not work, then you can change. Siguro there's an expanded version. If you know all the other methods pa, you can incorporate them as well. So the resources, even the resources or the materials, the curriculum, you can mix and match as well. So that's how parang beneficial naman this homeschooling method is for most families. And kasi parang you're open to anything. So open curriculum ka, and then you don't have to wait for the whole year to finish before you can change a method. You can change it every month or you can change it every quarter as long as it works for your child. Kasi yung nakikita mo na learning style ng anak mo, yun yung magdidictate sa'yo what will work. So, ayun, yun po. That's how I was able to present the homeschooling methods to you. And The next one are some just of the photos, no? The experiences, homeschooling experiences that our children had. Kasi pwedeng even if I work out, can he along and ito nag house, so doon play area nila table and how to
Hello, Amy. I think you. Hello. Ayun. Okay.
Akala ko tuloy-tuloy na tayo.
Oo nga eh. Okay lang.
Yes.
Yeah. Can
So
you
ayun
share
po,
the
yun yung mga
pictures?
yes. So yun ang mga activities nila, like he learned to plant, he learned to cook, he's learning to draw. So kahit bata pa lang, and marami na siyang exposure to a lot of activities, and these are all educating him. These are all learning for him. Hindi lang na yung napag-aralan niya na na-memorize. So more than the abstract learning, we focus on concrete learning. Yung talagang nahawakan niya at na-experience, because that will create a lasting impact and lasting effect, no, dun sa memory nila when they experience the things firsthand. My second daughter, she's into music. Yun. So makita mo, mas marami akong pictures niya na she's playing an instrument. So when we were in Nepal, she, dun sa first picture, she was already joining a worship with the other Nepalese there. Tapos dito on the right side, siya na nagli-lead. Siya na talaga yung mahawak ng instrument. She can play guitar, ukulele, keyboards, and electric guitar. Yon. So she's also sometimes in charge of the technical, how do you say it, media or tech things related to the work. And then she's able to like stand in front of a group or a crowd to, say something or give a speech or encourage them. Our eldest, so ito, may exposure sila sa sports, and then she really likes writing. In fact, later I will introduce you to her blog. And that was the time when our first experience of snow. So, kailangan niyang isulat. Kailangan niyang i-record, i-journal. So, ayan, nakita namin siya nagsusulat dun sa isang bato. And then, she's also learned to cook. And during the earthquake in Nepal, we were feeding around 30 volunteers in a day. So, we would cook all meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then, pagdating ng hapon, hindi ko na talaga kaya bumangon. So, sasabihin ko na lang sa kanya, please cook for our family so we can eat. And I would just give her verbal instructions, like this is what you do, like that, step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's how she learned how to cook. And so, until now, she has learned to cook gourmet dishes like Spanish cuisine, not just Filipino, ano pa ba? Continental yon. So kaya kinuha na namin siya ng picture na ganyan, hawak niya yung mga kitchen utensils. Okay, so right now po, I'm going to share with you naman what are the challenges that we faced while homeschooling abroad. Okay. So the first challenge is about curriculum. Why? Because yun nga, yung kanina diniscuss ko, no? So although we are able to find them either locally from the Philippines. So ang ginagawa po namin, when we go home to Manila, we would already buy whatever we need and then we bring them here or wherever kung nasaan man kami at the time. And yung iba po, in-order din namin siya sa US. So our homeschool provider has given us the option for an open curriculum. So that's why we can mix and match the curriculum. So hindi lang siya yung prescribed set. So we can add or we can reduce. But as long as, we have to also let them curate it na para biblical approach pa rin talaga yung aming magagamit na mga curriculum. So of course, the challenge is on the storage and the weight. Kasi nga, we are only allowed, di ba, pag nagta-travel tayo, we're only allowed 20 to 30 kilos for one luggage, for one person. So that's sometimes a challenge for us, and we are blessed when some friends would visit from the Philippines or other nations, and we would ask them, please bring this book for us, please bring our materials for us. So yun, nakakatulong po yun. Pero isa talaga yan sa isang malaking challenge, yung pag-acquire ng curriculum. And then the office supplies, the school supplies also, kasi some of them, lalo na pagbaguhan kayo sa isang country, may not be available where you are at. And then we are thankful that we have a strong internet connection here. And as I've mentioned, our materials, minsan isa lang siya for the whole 3 children. So pasa-pasa po namin siya. And also language barrier. Kasi nga dito, we have to learn both Russian and Armenian. Pag pumunta ka po sa bookstore, among books na English. So talagang, what do we do? No? Especially when my son was just learning how to read. I was trying to get him some mga kindergarten books. And most of them were written in Russian or Armenian. So even yung mga tutors or outsourced instruction from that you can have them learn music, arts, and PE. Kasi nga before, nasanay kami na we enroll them to learn an instrument, tapos meron silang theater, meron silang art school. Pero dito, yun nga, because of the language barrier, medyo na restricted kami. And I'm not sure how it is like in the other countries for those who are watching. But for us, that's the case. We had some challenge with the language barrier because they cannot really, the majority cannot speak English. Another challenge is the absence of community of homeschoolers. When we were in the Philippines, we were part of a parang co-op or group of homeschooling families. So we have common activities done with them. So our children get to interact with their peers, and they made friends, no? Having the children also from other homeschooling families. And they had group events then, like yung mga linggo ng wika, mga programs, no, sa school. And they get to perform, they get to wear a costume, and they get to, pati mga Christmas party, ganyan. Pero when you are already abroad, wala na po ito. So, kaya ang aming, kunwari yung anak ko, the other day, he had a recital. So wala siyang audience na nasa theater or nasa isang hall. It was only our family who was the audience. So yun yung isang nawawala, no, pagdating sa homeschooling abroad. And of course, homesickness. Kasi hindi naman natin mawawala na meron din sila mga kaibigan at relatives na naiwan sa Philippines. So, but then, I'm thankful with the blessing that we have now with technology, kasi they can just call and they can just do video calls or chat with their peers, yung mga homeschool friends din nila, and also their cousins and their relatives. So ano po yung ang cost naman? Ito na. So siguro most of you are wondering magkano or ano yung mga factors that are considered when you want to homeschool abroad. So of course, if you want to be accredited in either in the Philippines or internationally, you have to enroll in a homeschool provider. So that's what we did po. We enrolled in a homeschool provider, and so it entailed tuition fee and curriculum. So kung independent homeschooler naman kayo, minsan kasi okay, this is the range. It can go from 0 to an amount, no, that is prescribed by the homeschool provider. Kasi pwede naman kayo mag-homeschool for free. Kasi marami na ngayong mga online resources. But then if our intention is that our children will proceed to study in a conventional school later on, like or in college, like what our daughter did. Ngayon ang first time niya na nag-college sa isang traditional school, conventional school. Kaya po nag-US accreditation during her senior high school. So, syempre, pag ganon, medyo mas high, may additional fees than the normal tuition fee yon. So, when you're talking about tuition fee, so and the curriculum, kasi minsan hindi siya together lumped sa isang cost. It will be an added cost, yung curriculum, meaning yung books, textbooks, or materials that you will need, as well as the school supplies. Kasi nga, dadalhin nyo siya, di ba? Or you will buy them locally where the country that you are based now. So, ngayon po ang aming roughly lang no, an idea of how much yung aming tuition fee plus the curriculum, it's around 50 to 60,000. Pero ang aming provider ngayon, we have a family fee, meaning the main cost is only shouldered by the first child. Tapos as long as you have siblings that you also enroll, mas mababa na yung babayaran. Parang add-on na lang dun sa tuition fee ng ng first child. And sabi ko nga po kanina, naghihiraman ng mga anak ko ng curriculum. So wala kami masyado talagang expenses every year sa kanilang books. Kasi whatever the oldest child used before, it will only be passed on to the next child. So dito po kami nakakatipid. But then, you also have to factor in the cost for tutors or auxiliary teachers. So sila po yung mga teacher in math, tutor in math, or for music, for learning musical instruments, or for PE. Kasi katulad nito pong sa picture, we had our daughters learn snowboarding kasi may snow dito. So yun, nag-hire kami ng instructor and naturuan sila how to snowboard. And that is already for their PE. Tapos yung kunwari, yung tatlong anak namin po ay nasa nasa football. Or nag-ano sila, what do you call it, badminton. So you have to consider the fees for the gym, the fees for the instructor if there is, or the coach. So yun po ang auxiliary teachers. In our provider, what happens is, whatever that they study under an auxiliary teacher, they will be graded by that person. And that will be the grade that I will submit to the school. Tapos yun po, yung others, so what are the other expenses? Of course, yung mga visas, no? And then your expenses for doing visa run, you have to go to another country again to renew your visa, and then airfare or the accommodation pa nga, hindi ko na ilagay dyan. So these are the amount. I did not put an exact amount kasi syempre nag-iiba-iba siya no, per country. So at least now you have an idea what the things are covered or the factors that you have to consider when you want to really decide to homeschool abroad. Okay po ba yan? Sige, next time po. Next na tayo. So, because we are enrolled in a homeschool provider, so meron po kaming homeschool support. And in our homeschool provider, we have a family advisor. That means that there's someone who will oversee the progress. So, titingnan niya every quarter, nasa na ba siya ngayon? Tapos, meron po siyang tinatawag na portfolio review. So, you can see there our son, he's doing an online review with his family advisor. So, makita niyo sa side, no, kasi he made some a puppet show. So, pinakita niya dyan, gumawa siya ng mga stick puppets. So, what's good about this is you will have a moral support, and then you can participate in milestones and events, graduated. So, sakto po, we were in the Philippines when the graduation happened. So, we were able to join the graduation ceremonies. So, una, yung aking eldest, she was grade 10 at the time. So, parang moving up day niya yan. And then, yung sa right side naman, that was the graduation of our grade 6 and kinder. So, nag-graduate siya sa preschool. So, di ba, parang ang ganda sa, family album ninyo or sa memories ninyo that these children have attained a milestone in their lives. So, yan ang isang benefit when you are in a provider. And then, we also have other homeschooling families that we run to for support. So, we need encouragement in this journey. And then, it is comforting to know that you are not alone. At maganda nga itong ginagawa nila Ate Bong kasi they opened it up for homeschooling families and those who want to homeschool. And I think Ate Bong is one with us in saying na we are here for you, we can help you, and we can like walk you through the journey as well. So isa pang maganda po with other homeschooling families is you can do curriculum swaps or sales. So yung mga pre-loved na curriculum, pwede niyo pong ibenta yon. So hindi nasasayang. So there was one time I used a module type of curriculum when our eldest was just starting. Kasi nasa Philippines pa kami at that time. It has like for one subject, they have to finish 10 modules to or worksheets madalas, no? So ang nangyari po, I was able to sell them all after she finished doing them. Kasi nga we were going na to Nepal at the time, hindi namin kayang dalhin. Kasi biro mo per subject 10 'yon na module. So ang dami-dami naming ita-transport. So we thought that it was not a practical kind of curriculum, so we shifted to another curriculum. So nabenta ko po 'yun. So 'yun. So hindi nasasayang. And we have some books that we keep for general reference kasi kahit these are the kinds of books that when even the children grow already, they can still use it. Na parang anytime you could just pull it out of the shelf and you learn, keep on learning and learning. We also have homeschool assessments provided by our provider, and that is through portfolio review. So this is every quarter or every semester. So ang maganda po dito kasi the children will be able to do projects and they compile them together and they show them. They are the ones who discuss them orally, and it builds such confidence. It builds creativity out of the learnings that they had during the quarter. Tapos meron din po silang mga online tests, and may before they were doing ALSAT yung every year, so they had to take this test to evaluate how they are doing along with the national level. So for example, in the context of the Philippines, no, kasi DepEd accreditation kami, pang-ilan sila sa buong Philippine learner at that grade level. So nami-measure po siya through ALSAT. And then globally, ano rin ang rank niya. So somehow, you can see if your children is at par with their age. At madalas po, ang result ng mga bata na homeschooled ay, eto baka magulat po kayo, there's a grade or a result that says post-high school. Yun yung kanilang level. Meaning, like for example, for English, after taking the ALSAT, their remark is PHS, post-high school. That means that their level of learning, the level is not, if they were grade 4, for example, or grade 5, it's not only for grade 4 and grade 5. They're able to comprehend post-high school, beyond high school already. Because, kaya nga kasi yung homeschooling, it doesn't limit the child to learn what only the lesson is about. Di ba yung tinuturo sa atin nung nasa classroom, ito lang pag-aralan nyo. But when the children are homeschooling, and especially if you're doing world schooling or the methods that I've mentioned, it opens up their mind into learning, not just limited to what they're supposed to do. So kaya nga ang mga test results nila matataas din po. And of course, the usual quarterly assessment will be done through quizzes and oral discussions. So, hindi naman to nawawala, no? Kasi it's a regular thing that you assess if your child is really learning when you're doing regular quizzes and discussions. Like for us, the discussions happen not formally na, okay, tumayo ka nga dyan at sabihin mo kung anong pag-aralan mo, no? It happens like when we are having our dinner or meal times together. That's when we discuss and we let them openly tell us what they learned, what they experienced, and the interaction happens. And this is what is one of the things that is good, no? Kasi na-foster yung family relationship through these open discussions with our children. Sometimes when the children are just doing homework out of school, they bring it home, and then they do it, hindi mo na natin minsan nalalaman, no? Ano pa pinag-aaralan nila sa school. But then when they're homeschooling, you are with them, you see them studying at home, you see how they learn, you get to know ano yung challenges also that they face firsthand. And you don't have to wait until the evening to know what happened during the school time, during the day. So ito, real time, nakikita mo kasi you're present with them. So, pakita ko lang dito yung sample ng portfolio outputs. Because we are mobile and we have been to different countries, we have started to do what you call a online blogging. So, each of our children, they have a homeschool blog. So, dito po, pinapasok lang namin lahat ng kanilang mga learnings, the things that they completed, whether it was from the curriculum or the actual experience that they had. Like ito yung sa aming grade 2. So, yan, meron siyang experience for science about planting, germination, and then may mga, so meron siya, so lahat ng subjects covered, and we just compile it together in one blog. So these are just a screenshot no, of the things that are in his blog. And ito naman po yung sa aming second child. So, meron din siyang sarili niyang blog and this is her format. So, hindi ko lang siya ma-capture nung buong page talaga. So, it's a bit cropped. Okay, and this is our eldest when she was still doing her homeschool blogs also. So, more on essays ang kanyang approach. So, kahit math output, so makita mo, naka-ano pa rin siya, naka parang essay type, di ba? And then she's also into art. So she made these postcards. So what she did was she went around the city and she took photos of the things that she saw and she made them into postcards. So it was printed and now she's able to send it all over the world to her friends. And sa likod may nakalagay doon, photography by Isa. So sa kanya lang talaga, that's her artwork, no? And marami pang iba. She's also gifted into calligraphy and all this stuff. And my second daughter also is into watercolor. And the third child is now learning how to sketch. And we can see the improvement na parang, wow, nag-i-evolve. Makita mo talaga yung stages ng kanilang skills also are improving. Yung next one will be, I'm gonna share that Isa is maintaining a blog. It's called wonderfieldisa.com. So parang if you wanna check it out po, you can see more of her lengthy blogs about all her experiences and lately about her college experience as well. So dyan po yan sa kanyang wonderfieldisa.com. So, and then I'm gonna share with you the benefits that we are reaping so far because of homeschooling. And I probably would reference it to our eldest. Kasi siya yung natapos na sa homeschooling eh, 'di ba? Nag-transition na siya sa college life. And she took the TOEFL and SAT for her to be admitted to the American University of Armenia. Kasi when we saw this university, we already knew that she would be here. And we are here as well. So parang na-limit yung, hindi naman na-limit, but the focus of our choice was it was really going to be in AUA. So she had to take all these tests for her to be admitted as part of the requirements. So ito po yung kanyang results. So I would say that one of the benefits that we are reaping right now is academic excellence. They grow in wisdom and stature. So ang kanyang score po, not score, the GPA pala, this school year for first year college is 3.97 over 4. So that would be around 99%. So sabi nga namin, yung requirement kasi sa kanya as a scholar is 2, yung GPA dapat. But then she really surpassed it and she actually got 3.97. And her professors are saying that, oh, the reason that probably you're so smart is because you were homeschooled. So yun po, yun, di ba parang, oh, ano na yun, you're reaping really a benefit and a reward from all the labor and all the tears and all the hard work that you did for the past years. Okay, so her score for TOEFL was 110 over 120. And for anyone to get that score, they can be admitted in any Ivy League school. in the US po. Tapos yung kanyang SAT result naman was 1310 over 1600. So she's up in the 89th percentile of the 1.7 students who took the test. So parang her score can actually qualify her to enter into 1,362 schools or colleges in the US if she wanted to study there. Meron nga mga sumulat sa amin na nagtatanong ng options kung gusto niya mag-aral sa Europe, yon. So kasi nga pag nag-take ka ng SAT, your profile will be in the college board as well. It is the worldwide admission body for university or college students. So what other benefits are we reaping now? Yung kanilang early involvement in our work and our ministry. So nakita mo na kaagad sa kanila yung kanilang leadership skills, yung musical talent nila, and multiplication of the things that we taught them now being transferred to others. So you can see here, they're very musically gifted, and then our eldest has started to teach our youngest. And yan yung picture nung nag-recital siya. At after 1 month of teaching him, he was able to already perform in a recital, and he performed a 7-something minutes na song. Haba, no? Akala ko yung mga row your boat lang ipi-perform niya, but it was a full-length song that he performed for 7 or so minutes. And also, you can see here, that's why I put multiplication, because when she shared the gospel to this Nepali girl, now she's also sharing it to others. And even here in Armenia, she's also doing that even online, no? And she's leading a small group or nung time na hindi pa COVID, kasi ngayon puro online na kami. And then the most important thing, the benefit that we are reaping from our children's homeschooling is the character development. Sabi nga sa Bible, di ba, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And so that is what we are adhering to, that when we train our children as young as they are, mostly in the character development, that when they are old, they will be responsible citizens, and they will be beneficial to their community, to their society where God will put them. So when they are excelling in their character development, they are in favor with God and man. So marami nagsasabi sa amin, feedback na parang, how did you do? What did you do to your children? Bakit ganyan sila mag-respond? They're so puro affirmation. And thank God na makikita mo yung kanilang, the way they react or respond and interact with other people, their character will also show. So I think this is one of the benefits that dun pa lang, okay, sold out na. Diba? And also other develop character traits that they were able to develop or still developing in the area of obedience, diligence, responsibility, flexibility, and creativity, and also compassion and gratefulness. I will just want to highlight this. When we were in Nepal, we visited a lot of orphanages, and so our children really showed compassion to them and ministered to them. So they would bring their toys, and we would bring food and give it to them, and prayed for them, Lord, also. And the way lang na they interact with the children, even at a young age, it was so amazing. And gratefulness. Why this picture? It's because this is called the lavash, yung national bread of Armenia. Ganyan po kahaba yan. So we just cut them into slices. And then, so our children are grateful for the things that they have experienced. So kahit nung nandun kami sa crisis, or even now, no, in the COVID pandemic, you can see that they're not complaining, they are not grumbling about their situation, lalo na nung nandun kami sa earthquake time na yon. So I'm so thankful na these are some of the character traits that they are mastering on. And of course, they keep on learning. Syempre, kino-correct pa rin natin sila, dinidiscipline pa rin natin sila. But then, I would really say that if there's one thing that they learn from homeschooling and they would excel in their character, then it's really a plus, more than what they learned academically. So, what about socialization? So, of course, pag nag-homeschool ka, mostly, syempre, nasa bahay, no? Home-based kayo. So, we are into vertical socialization more than horizontal socialization. So, vertical socialization means that the children will interact more with adults than their peers. peers or ka-age nila. So you can see here, so our children are so used into talking with older people or leaders, and they don't think na ay ayokong nahiya ako or ayoko siyang kausapin. They are already so exposed to them that they but of course we do not neglect the relationship with their friends. So meron din silang mga kaibigan na same age din naman nila, like even as well as relatives also. But then you can see here that because of the vertical socialization, like they're not, the confidence level nila is built a lot. My daughter was recently invited to this forum. She was the only student that was featured in this among the other speakers around the world. So I think you can still watch it. It's still in their website, businessbehaviorcoaching.com, or sa Facebook. They're also there, and you can see how she responded, to the questions that were asked from her. And I also added here a picture of our daughter talking to our house speaker, Cayetano. So he was invited to speak, I think, in one of our gatherings, and our daughter was just so excited and approached us. Can I talk to him? Can I talk to him after he talks? And comes down from the stage. And true enough, yun, kinausap siya ng diretso, and without even, getting concerned na baka hindi siya kausapin or what. And House Speaker Cayetano was gracious enough to accommodate her also. And here we can see that both our daughters, they were talking to the the US ambassador in Armenia. So yan. So yan po ang isang benefit ng ating mga anak na homeschool natin. They develop such boldness and confidence to approach anyone and learn more, during the time of parang interview or interaction with them. So yon, isang benefit is the family bonding. So you can see here, our family is, we entered into a parang Christmas costume contest na the topic was travel, I think, or tourism. So yon, because clearly that's how our family is. Now we are mobile, we travel, and we are flexible. So in this world, sabi nga nung placard na hawak nung daughter ko, we are foreigners and everything is temporary. And so while everything is temporary, what matters most is, of course, family relationship. And so that is what we should highlight, and that is what we should invest on. And our children are young, and they would spend only few moments with us. So when we are homeschooling them, we maximize this time that the Lord has given us to be with them. And I want to just, conclude in this verse. In Luke 2:52, it says, "And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man." In our family, this is probably our mission statement, that our children, the reason why we homeschool them, the reason why we continue to homeschool them, and we will go on with this journey, again, 1 year at a time commitment, it's because of this example that Jesus gave us. And I highlighted or enclosed Jesus because I want these children, their names are Abby, Jivan, and Isa, from left to right. And so I want to just replace their names there, that when Abby or Jivan and Isa, that they will increase in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man as they are homeschooled, as they are educated at home, as they learn having their parents as their primary providers of their education. So basically, this is what, kumbaga, you capsulate everything, and this is how it should be. Our goal is really for the children to not just excel in academics, but also excel in their character development, so that they will be useful, or they will benefit the place, the country, the society, or the community that they will be in later on in life. So that's it po. And allow me to show you for the coming weeks or days, I'm part of Teacher Mom Academy PH, and we are teacher mom coaches who help parents out there who want to learn more about homeschooling. So we will offer this quick start guide to homeschooling starting on Monday next week. And you just go to our Facebook page po. This is the name, Teacher Mom Academy PH. And you can just click there for some registration information. And there's also this how to maximize learning in the new normal for teens, and how to teach your children and increase their love for math. Yan. And so I'm really so grateful that Ate Bong invited me this afternoon. And I want to also highlight her group or community, Golden Horizons. And they provide online learning. And during this time po, I'm so grateful that we have this homeschool support. We can get these supplements to our children's education. Kasi wala na pong ibang magtutulungan sa COVID pandemic na hindi tayo din po. So I'm grateful to them and for her team, and thank you. And I also pray that this endeavor will be successful. So thank you very much, Ate Bong.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing tonight. Wow, if I were a parent with younger kids, I would really like to do homeschooling, definitely. So thank you so much, Aimee,
Yes.
for inspiring us tonight. I totally agree with everything you have shared with us, and I hope many parents who are listening listening now have been inspired too. One thing that really struck me, Aimee, is that as an overseas homeschool mom, the the being overseas with your kids is already a learning experience, right? So,
Yes.
also what really struck me is the character building. I think that's really important when it comes to education. And thank you so much for sharing your experiences and even your family with us tonight. And maybe if I don't see anybody who have asked questions, but you know what, we can answer other questions later. But before we end, I would like to just share what Aimee has mentioned a while ago about Golden Horizons. Maybe if you can see this. Okay, what I've mentioned a while ago, I forgot to screen share this. the the topics that we mentioned, and then the reasons why we do homeschooling, because of its safety. By the way, we provide with Golden Horizons, we provide very good curriculum from the US and also from the Philippines, and it is pace learning, so it's according to the pace of the child. And you're right, we are a school that provides support and provides system in our group. And I would like to just show you what we are providing for preschool. We provide both actually synchronized and asynchronized kind of learning, and it's offline. It means it's hard copies. The child will be given hard copies of the materials, and at the same time, they will be watching videos that were pre-recorded by very competent teachers. It's what we call supplemental learning. So they will be getting videos, pre-recorded videos per week. And at the same time, on a Friday, since we have flexible schedule, we provide education video conferencing, or EVC, wherein they learn how to cook, how to do arts and crafts, and different things. So it's not just the parents providing for this, but with Golden Horizons, you can avail of this other learning platforms. So if you're interested, you can just go to our website, golden-horizons.com, and you can find other information, other details in our website, or you can also visit our Facebook page, which is where the broadcast of this webinar is being done. So these are sample of our materials. And then for assessment, it's performance-based assessment, because we do a live or a real-time assessment on top of the quizzes and the unit assessment that we will be providing. So again, we provide system, program, and materials. We also provide tutorials. If your children needs tutorial in math or science and other subject areas, we also provide that. And also we can do teacher training for those parents or even teachers who need more training on teaching, especially during this time. I know many parents don't know what to do. This might be the first time you'll be teaching your children, so we're providing that. And for more information, you can go to this to our website, and also call us or text us with these numbers. So thank you so much for listening tonight. And again, thank you so much, Aimee, for being with us. I really appreciate your help and support tonight.
Yes, thank you.
We're blessed. I personally am blessed, and I pray that your family, that God will continue to bless your family. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
God bless you too, Ate. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I think that's the end of
Bye-bye.
our Zoom meeting tonight. Bye-bye. God bless.